Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm just a casual sim racer, and today I just want to do a quick video going over some of my force feedback settings in the brand new game WRC Generations. And so some of the WRC games have been historically a little bit difficult to set up the force feedback for direct drive wheels. And so that's what I'm going to be touching on. Some of my settings for direct drive wheels. I have a Fanatec CSL DD. Specifically, I'm using the 5 Newton meter power pack. I also have an 8 Newton meter power pack. I just don't have it attached right now. So I may do a follow-up video touching on this. If people are interested, comment down below. But generally, I think these settings are going to put you right in the ballpark. There is one slider I think you could adjust depending if you're using the 8 Newton meter CSL DD wheel or the GT DD wheel, or perhaps you're using a different type of force feedback direct drive wheelbase, which there might be some adjustments that you make, but generally these settings should get you in the correct ballpark region. So I'm going to jump into the options here before this video gets too long, and you're going to see I have the Fanatec Club Sport wheelbase version 2.5. I have my Fanatec CSL DD in compatibility mode, just to let you know that. So that's why it's popping up like that. So we're going into the settings. To start off, let's go to the vibration. Set everything to 0. That's step 1. And so that's something that you're going to do all over here. Just slide them all over, or slide them this way. And turn them to 0, and that's going to solve a lot of your problems. That's like step 1. And I don't really, if you have a direct drive wheelbase, any kind, these all need to be 0s. Alright, so then now we can go to general. This is step 2. This is kind of a little bit more of personal preference, but 540 for the maximum wheel angle is what's very typical for rally racing cars today, and I think it's a pretty good setting. I've messed around with going a little higher, maybe around 760, 720. For me, I like 540. It's realistic. I think it's a great setting. Finally, go to the force and effects, and so we're going to start at the bottom here. Ground surface, if you go back to vibration, it's also here in vibration. I've messed around with it. I think it might be a vibration setting. You do need to have some feeling though for difference. This is the difference. It sends a little bit of vibration effect for when you're on gravel or when you're on dirt, as opposed to driving on tarmac, which is smoother. So I do think you need it. I was messing around 20, but I think this can be pretty low. You maybe could even put this at 5. It's just kind of that differentiating between gravel and tarmac and dirt and all that, and that's all it really does. Recentering force, this is for menus, start of the race, that type of thing. Put this at whatever, it doesn't affect the driving experience. I left it at 100. Self-centering, this is going to be very important actually for when you're driving. It's essentially the rotational speed of your wheel. So I left this at 100. Maybe you experiment with going up a little higher if you really want to, but I thought it was great here. I messed around a little bit. 100 seemed to be the best spot for it. Tire load, this is one that they start off I think around 50 or 40 by default. This, to me, is what you're getting, the compression of the springs. This is really getting the details. You go in a ditch, you drive across a rut, things like that. It's really providing the detail to your force feedback experience. For me, I cranked that all the way up. I think it provides a lot of great information. Self-aligning torque. I left this at default. Cranking it up didn't seem to help. It almost is causing it to reach the threshold of the force feedback, making it a bit too muddy sooner, making clipping sooner. So I left this at 100. Now, of course, now we reach the final kind of setting, the overall force setting. I have this set at 80. It's a little lower, and I started and I went down one at a time. I thought for a while 81, but I finally settled on 80. But if you have the 8 Newton meter pack attached to your Fanatec CSL DD wheel or GT wheel, then perhaps you can go a little higher on this, maybe 88, 90 even, before you kind of hit that clipping. And I also noticed there was a bit of notchiness, and that can be caused by the vibration, which we've eliminated. It can also be caused by the ground surface, but we've turned that way down. And so the final bit is that notchiness can kind of be caused a bit by that clipping. And so turning that overall force down to solve any threshold clipping issues, but additionally remove any kind of weird notchiness effect that you can sometimes get in WRC games, I found 80 to be the perfect sweet spot. So if you have a 5 Newton meter pack, I'd go with 80. If you don't, if you have something more powerful, put my settings in and then just start working it up, and you can just start moving that slider back across, step at a time, and you'll probably find a nice sweet spot. If you got a super powerful wheel, it might not matter. It might just be more, because all these sliders can go up to 150. You might actually could go higher than 100, and it'll just be kind of where do I want the force strength to be at. So definitely play around with that slider. The rest of them, though, I think are in a real good spot. Feel free to leave a comment if you got any suggestions. I know there might be some updates coming out. If there are any, I will be try to post an update. Also, let me know if you'd like me to try this out with the 8 Nm pack, and I'll grab that out of the closet and hook it up, and I'll try driving with that as well. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope this video was valuable, but most of all, I hope you all have a great rest of your week.